Hi, I'm Sister Unity, and I want to teach you today about how to build yourself an altar. An altar is a sacred space. Now, it doesn't have to be religious sacred. It can be secular sacred. It can be psychological sacred. It can be you sacred. It can be someone else sacred. It's just a place that has a special resonance for you to sit and focus with very specific intentions on whatever it is that you decide is special about it. For me, I have one that reflects mythology I love, spirituality that I believe in and practice, and philosophy that I am interested in, a perception of how the universe is and what it is that I subscribe to. And this is the place for me to focus on that, think about that, enjoy that, worship it, and meditate and practice my meditation. And do self-contemplation as well. So, the first things you'll need, the very first thing you need is you want to find a place that is consistently available, clean, and a place where the area can remain for this purpose and this purpose only. Now, I live in a little one-room celled convent cell, single apartment, and so there's not a lot of room. Sorry, my earring is itching me. And so there's not a lot of room, but there's just enough on one particular wall. And I knew when I walked into this place, when I was seeing whether or not I wanted to rent it, that this was the wall, because it's just located between two windows and just bam, there it is. And it just said, here's the space. It just said that in my intuition. So I put a picture of my meditation teacher on the wall because she evokes this intention for practicing meditation. And I put my altar that I had built, I used to use a piano bench. You can use a table, whatever works for you, a piece of furniture in this space, and then I set it up. So pick your right space. Now, if you're going to practice something like meditation, or you're going to sit and write, or think, or contemplate, or be peaceful, in front of your altar, then make sure it's an area where you can sit and that doesn't have a lot of foot traffic, so that you can put a cushion there, put a little blanket to sit on, or something where you can go and access your altar and have a peaceful time there, where it's not in the middle of the flow of traffic in your place. So it's its own space. Then get a piece of furniture upon which you can set up your altar. Like I said, a piano bench or a table, some flat, even surface, could have multi-levels. Mine are just ordinary flat. Just something that works for you. And in all of what I'm going to tell you in setting up your altar, feel free to listen to your intuition. Let your intuition sort of go, this would be great, wouldn't it? And just try it. Just go with it, because often the deeper parts of ourself, which may be connected to whatever this altar is to, may be trying to help out. So on my altar, I'll show you my altar. On my altar, please avoid the messiness. On that little blue piece of furniture is a cabinet, and it holds a lot of my sacred items. And then you see here, there's where the cushion that I use to sit and meditate on. That fish is a symbol that represents Sister Fagala. And when she was not feeling well, I put her on that so that she would get the good energy from my altar to help her to heal. And that's some of my other religious texts and things, and shawls for when it gets cold and I'm sitting for meditation. This here is the end of my bed. So here on my altar, there's the picture of my meditation teacher, and you see the wall between the two windows. And so I've got Shiva and some pictures and statues of some other religious people. That's Swami Muktananda. He's a meditation master. Some family members here, and here my grandmother, now deceased, so I can remember her. The goddess Lakshmi, the goddess Kali, and then in here is Ganesh. So all of the Hindu deities, and there's Kuan Yin, a Chinese deity, the goddess of compassion. These are all who I am trying to focus on, who I adore from the mythology that I read and love, and that take me to the place of thinking of my higher self, my inner self, that are good for me to focus on, to connect to for meditation, and that are connected to a sense of my heart. So that's for me, that's what I focus on for my altar. Yours might have Jesus. Yours might have something representing the Quran. Of course, not any imagery of Muhammad, because or a statue of the Buddha, or a Gehunzen, or it might have things from nature, like plants, or leaves, or sticks, or stones that have particular meaning for you. Over here, I have another altar to Ganesh. There's Ganesh, and he sits underneath this umbrella of this African hat. So it's just one single place for one particular deity, and there's some nice flowers next to him, you see there. Over here I have a small, it's not really an altar, but it's sort of an altar. It's got candles and flowers and a Chinese guardian and a little African fertility doll that if I am feeling out of sorts with my sexuality, I sometimes have a conversation with her, but that's between them and me. It's Sister Unity's private matters. Let me just reset you there. So that's an example of one altar, mine. Yours, as I say, might have things from nature. It might have artwork that means something to you, artwork by someone you love, the artwork of a child, your own artwork. Maybe has poems or things that you've written that mean something for you. You might set them there. It might have images from history, images from art, photographs, or paintings that have meaning for you. What is your intention for your altar? Where do you want to go in yourself, in your heart? And altars are very much about a home for the heart. So what expresses your heart that you want to keep as noteworthy, as worthy of having a higher or deeper conversation than your average daily conversation with, and that have meaning for your life? Sister Barbie's altar is a sister altar. She has items from sister retreats and events, things that have historical value to the sisters, things that mean something to her being a sister, or events that she's been at, or events of the sisters that mean something to her. So it clicks into her heart because her heart is very much in her being a sister. So then you have these items that ally with your intention and set them in some way that is aesthetic. Make it look nice. What is your central image? If you have more than one central thing that's the most important, then do they are side by side or in threes? Just set one so that each thing has its own space and place, so that if you wanted to, you could set a flower before them. There's room for that, or a little bit of chocolate, or a glass of water, or a little bowl of rice, or some food offering if you wanted to make offerings to these things, or if you wanted to write a poem or a prayer, or just write something that's on your heart and mind. You have a little folded up or rolled up piece of paper will fit on the space before those particular items. So something that is well spaced. In Indian tradition and in many traditions, they have a cloth that goes underneath a particular statue or object. It just sort of makes it like, here's your place, here's your nice little sacred place, as denoted by this little cloth, or a little bowl, or a little stand, or something, or a little easel that you put a picture on, something that says, here is your particular special place, you special item. Then it is very important, once your altar is set up, that you keep it clean, that you respect the altar items, and that you give it this respect, because it will keep your heart and your intention respected and clean and to the fore. If you love the universe by caring for the parts of the universe loves you back. That's the idea behind keeping your altar clean. Mine is called a puja. Puja is the Hindu or Sanskrit term for an altar. So I keep my puja clean. Lighting a candle and lighting incense are ways to make an altar auspicious. You bring light to it because light is auspicious. Incense, a nice fragrance that makes it smell beautiful, that is auspicious. Your central focus and the meaningfulness that's in your heart expressed in the objects on your altar are honored when you make them auspicious with lights or incense and or flowers and or offerings. Money, food, flowers, these are all good things to offer. So by honoring the items on your altar, you are really honoring what they represent that's in your own heart or in your own mind. So you're honoring your own self. You're honoring pieces of your own psyche, of your own heart, of your own self when you honor them. It's a little trick that ritual performs. You honor something on the outside that has a connection to the inside, and you honor the inside. You lift yourself up by using this device, this mnemonic device, this symbolic device, to uplift it. It uplifts you. It's the same sort of thing. Very Jungian. But then I'm a young man. Yeah, I said that. So candles, incense, offerings of flowers, keeping it clean and decorous. And then the last component is you and time. Make sure you spend time at your altar regularly. Once a day, once every other day, once a week, whatever it is, make it consistent. Go and do your thing there. Is it sitting quietly? Is it meditating? Is it just sitting and watching your breath come in and out? Or breathing consciously and slowly? Is it being mindful if you study Thich Nhat Hanh or Buddhism? Is it writing something? Do you write in your journal? Do you write contemplations? Do you write poetry or stories? Do you draw? Do you paint by your altar? What way do you connect to that which your altar items represents to you while you are there? Choose that and then be there and do that regularly. The same time every day is good, either in the morning after getting up or in the evening before bed. Those are two often very good times for it because there are times when your mind is just starting or your mind is shutting down. Those are good in-between times, and the in-between time is practically a doorway to the sacred. So there you have it. That's the whole way to use your altars. Pick your time and be there doing what you want to do with your altar consistently. And remember, the key to all of it is, what is your intention for this altar? What is the thing that means something to you? For me, it is using Hinduism, Hindu philosophy, meditation, practices, and mythology to bring me into the experience of what's inside my own heart and inside my own psyche. That's my intention. What is yours? My intention could also be said to make a space where I can meditate or practice meditation, where I can pray, where I can sing prayers in Sanskrit, a place for that. That's another intention. What's yours? Take pictures of your altar, post them in the comments, write me your intentions if you want, or ask questions. I'd be happy to answer. I'm greatly looking forward to seeing what your altars look like. And I hope that it's a device that really works for you in bringing you to your own heart and bringing you some peace in your life. Blessings on your altars. And also on your undergarments, which should also be kept clean regularly.